Revolutionary Guard is warning that Israel will face a, quote, harsh response. It comes after the assassination of Hamas political leader Ismail Haniyeh. Iranian state television reported earlier today that Haniyeh was killed in an overnight airstrike in Tehran. The Hamas leader was there for the inauguration of Iran's new president. There has been strong international reaction to the killing, with Qatar and Egypt both warning it could jeopardize efforts to secure a truce in Gaza. In Israel, news of the assassination is being greeted with a sense of relief by some.
I don't think war is inevitable. I maintain that. I think there's always room and opportunities for diplomacy, and I'd like to see parties pursue those opportunities.
And joining me now is retired Colonel Rich Outzen, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council. Colonel, first off, I will thank you for being here. I want to ask, what is your reaction to the Hamas leader being killed? Is it a surprise?
Well, it's good to be with you. On one hand, it's a surprise because it succeeded. This is not the first time Israel has apparently tried to kill Ismail Haniyeh. In fact, it's at least the fifth. The timing is interesting, coming right on the heels of a successful strike against the Hezbollah commander in Lebanon as well, which itself was a tit-for-tat after an attack that killed 12 children in the Israeli portion of the Golan Heights. So what we're seeing is this shadow game where Iran is attacking Israel from Lebanon, from the Red Sea via the Houthis, supporting this various groups in direct attacks against Israel, and Israel is forcefully hitting back, both observing certain limits in terms of the size and the depth of the attacks, but troubling because it does have the potential for escalation.
Hamas is scrambling now to try to figure out what happened. How could this happen? How does this strike you? Was this a major security failure? And if it was, what does that say?
Well, there's a division of responsibility, from what I understand, in Tehran for security of buildings and personalities. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, is responsible for most foreign visitors. However, Haniyeh had apparently chosen to stay in a guest house that was run by a foundation for what they call martyrs or for war veterans, and that is a different group, not IRGC. It appears that Haniyeh's choice to stay in that separate facility created a security gap or vulnerability which the Israelis were in a position to exploit. So I think the Iranians will be scratching their heads and trying to figure out where this happened and what's the correct response. I will point out Israel has conducted at least, if open source reporting is to be believed, 10 previous assassinations of nuclear scientists and IRGC-linked figures in Iran. So they've got a better ability to track targets and strike them in Iran than Iran does in Israel.
Now, Iran's Revolutionary Guard is warning that Israel will face a harsh response for this assassination. This is all sparking fears of a wider conflict. How justified are those fears?
Well, I think the whole logic of the Iranian campaign regionally against Israel rests on avoiding an escalation into conventional warfare. And in fact, Iran does not possess very strong conventional capabilities, the ability to launch airstrikes with manned aircraft or a ground invasion. So it's a little bit limited in what they can do. We saw back in April that they can launch UAVs and rockets and missiles that as of yet are not particularly effective. However, the Iranians have a long arm through this network of proxies and terror groups. So I think they will strike back in a painful and symbolic way. I think the fears of a broader escalation are overwrought right now because neither Israel nor Iran has really anything to benefit from a wide campaign, a conventional campaign right now, like we saw in Lebanon, for instance, in 2006. Plus, the Biden-Harris administration will certainly be tamping down and sort of choreographing both sides to keep the response short of a major new escalation into a full war.
All right, that is our time. We'll have to end it there. Retired Colonel Rich Outzen, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council. Thank you very much, as always, for your time.
Good to be with you.